have 3 more feathers to do in here. Our next feather is a combination of a fern and a feather. So we're going to start up here with a feather like this, and then we cradle that feather with a fern. I call this one a berry feather fern because we're also going to add some berries in there. And you can add the same type of berries that we did on this fern over here, or you can do these other type, which is circle stem, and a little curl, and then as you come back you do circle stem on the way back. These look a little bit more realistic. I'm getting a little smaller feathers down here because I know I have some other feathers that are going to be coming out of the pot. Then we'll go back up and do the other side of this. Ferns and feathers, just sort of cradle those feathers with those ferns. Beautiful, and that is really an unusual thing to put on someone's quilt. They absolutely love it. I can't believe what a wonderful job you did. This next feather is what I call the crown feather, or the royal feather. And it's going to take you a little bit more practice. What you're going to do is you're going to do a polka dot at the top of the feather, but remember that you have to get that flat in order to do it. So you really flatten out at the top of your feather, flat, and then come around to make the polka dot, and then flat again, and then down, and then put a stem inside of that. And if they're going to go sideways, you have to remember at what angle you're doing this. And you're still following that stem down. So this one is going to take some practice, but it is worth it. It is absolutely gorgeous. And it looks wonderful echoed. This is a great one to echo. I'm going to go back up here. Just so you can see the effect of this feather. Wow. Flat, flat, down, and stem. You have to really concentrate. Flat, flat, down, stem. Little tiny ones down here as I get down toward the bottom. And if you get really close down there at the bottom, you can always just put in some ferns to kind of fill in everything that's at the bottom there. So that's our royal feather. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, we have one more surprise. We're going to come through here with another feather, but at the top of the feather we're going to put another heart. This heart is going to have the feathers going up and around instead of dripping off like we did on this heart. So we're going to come up here to the top. This would be a good place for a heart. We're going to make our heart shape. And if you remember, when we did this heart, we started at where the two curves come together. This one, we came from the bottom. So we're going to complete our feathers on the inside. We'll start with one feather right there at the bottom, and then these feathers are all going to be headed up like this, and as we get to the middle we just drip one feather off there in the middle like that. Now we've got the feathers on the inside done. Now we'll do the outside, and this is really an easy thing. Just sort of do a bow like this, and that establishes the bottom of that feather. Now as we come around at the top of this, I'll move this tape so you can see this. As we come around, We're going to get smaller and we're going to do those little kissing feathers, little ones like that, and then we'll get larger. There we go. We have a wonderful feathered heart there with the feathers all going up. You can see how we dripped that one down in the middle and how we did our little kissing feathers on the outside, and that's how we changed directions. Now as we come down this stem, we're going to do what I call a butterfly feather. So this is really a fun one to do. And you come out like this and you'll do like 4 things like that. And then on the other side you can do that too. So we're doing like little wings. Maybe you'd want to call this one an angel feather. Angel wing feather. It's very different because you're dripping these feathers off in an unusual way, different than what you usually do. And we'll just kind of fill this in down here at the bottom. To fill in the rest of our pot. That. Now we're ready to come down here and finish below the pot. To finish below this pot, I've decided to do some little pebbles. And remember, in doing this dimensionally, we need to do smaller pebbles at the top than we do at the bottom, and you can go around pebbles as many times as you want to. It just makes just raises up other areas. And oftentimes when I'm doing pebbles, I'll do them so that I actually am doing like 2 at a time. Turn up our speed here. Like this. I'm going to get these a little bit larger. And then finally at the bottom, these are going to be quite a bit larger. And I think I'll go over these a few times. The areas in between you can really pack down with your thread. Because it will raise up the area that is not quilted, which is the circle, which is what you wanted. So I could go over all of these several times, and it would also add quite a bit of color in here. I may even want to do it at a random fashion to make it a little bit more interesting. And you can put those down, clear down to the bottom of your wall hanging and over to the sides of your feathers. And the last thing that you're going to want to do is sign your name. And of course you better figure out how to feather your name. Any letters that are tall you can feather. And I'll put the year on it as well. And you may want to give this away to somebody. This is a wonderful little present. I think I'll go over this a couple of times. You know, that was really easy to do, so I think 2003 is going to be a great year because we can all quilt 2003 so easily. Now I want to take a look at a few quilts that have feathers on them so you can see some of the places that we actually use these feathers that you have learned.